Hey, reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, you're watching the original Rebels Racing League.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to another round of the original Rebel Racing Late Night Series. Today, we're at the Coral Castle 150 at Homestead Miami Speedway. We're getting ready to wrap up our season here today. But on behalf of the original Rebel Racing League as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in as we're looking forward to another great night. But we're going to do something a little bit different tonight as we've got Dakota Camper joining us here today. Dakota, you got your ears on?
Yeah, I got you.
Now, Dakota, you picked up a win last week in that beautiful number 3 machine, but everything kind of fell apart, and we weren't able to get you or your Chevrolet down onto victory lane and talk about it. But how's it going, my friend?
Going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So last week was kind of a wild night for everybody. Today we come back out to the typical mile-and-a-halfers. Is Homestead you're generally a track you're pretty comfortable at, or what is the thoughts going in here to tonight?
Well, I like that high line. Once you get down below that top groove, it seems to be extremely loose, so you got to be extra careful down on the bottom. Some of these guys are just now logging in. I think they might be in for some trouble.
Now, this is a night that you should hope to do well. I believe you're leading the points after last week. You've got about 4 or 5 points ahead of Bill Stringfellow. Not a lot of racers showing up here today. You think that's going to help or hurt your chances over the course of tonight?
I think if we can get some long green flag runs, I think that'll help me. So I think less race cars that's more prone to do that. I know Bill was not feeling well today, so he's not going to make it. So thinking about him, but that should help me because I think third's about 12 points behind. So that's really what I'm looking at is third and fourth instead of second.
Now, with that smaller field and the chance of green flag runs, does that put more of an emphasis on qualifying here today, or does it change things at all?
I think I want to be in front of these guys up at the beginning of the race, just in case they do get loose and wreck. I'd rather be in front of them than have to avoid them.
Well, seems like a good idea, my friend. We're going to let you go and get ready for qualifying, but we wish you the best of luck. Before we let you sign off, you kind of missed out on the opportunity last week. Who would you like to give a shout-out to here today that may be helping to cheer you on?
Yeah, I always want to give a shout-out to Unchained Motorcycle Ministry. They do fantastic things around our region here around Bristol Motor Speedway. Big shout-out to Jeremy and Chastity who run that organization. And the Gathering Place Church, always supportive. And, I just want to give a shout-out to my friend and teammate, Bill Stringfellow, who's a little under the weather tonight.
Well, we wish you the best of luck tonight. We're keeping Stringfellow in our thoughts as well. Hope to see him come back out here soon. And good luck out there, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Hopefully you have a good show to cover tonight.
Well, it's up to you guys, my friend. That was Dakota Camper, the winner of last week, taking the time to hang out with us and talk. Let's get ready to head over to the raceway here today, where single car qualifying is underway. You'll see the live timing on the left side of your screen here today, as Josh Oswald makes his way out on track in the number 17 Chevrolet. And as always, thank you so much to our viewers from across the world that tune in week and week out. Supporting your favorite drivers, your favorite league, and your favorite broadcaster. We couldn't do it without you guys across the world. And we absolutely notice those that have subscribed to the Team Goon Squad YouTube channel, as well as like the videos every week. It helps us out immensely, and it really, really is appreciated. Let's see what the drivers are going to do out here in qualifying. Looks like only 13 drivers making it out here today. So definitely a smaller field than we're used to as we get ready to round out the championship. Again, today we're at Homestead, and then it will be our season finale next week at Chicagoland, where we're going to go another 100 laps, 150 miles. Garrett Kinder so far puts it on top of pole in the number 13 Ford Mustang. Eddie Smith second. Josh Oswald clicks off a 33.36, good enough for third. As Oswald, his second time by, does he improve? Yes, he does with a 33.28. Let's see who else is going out on track. We've got Brett Grunewald, the number 5 machine. He's going out for his first time lap. Let's see what he can do. He's got a best of 32.74. That is Eddie Smith, who's sitting on top of pole in the Chevrolet. Brett Grunewald comes out in fashion with a 33.46. But let's see if he can find 7 more tenths in qualifying to try and catch up to fast Eddie Smith. As right now is Smith, Kinder, Oswald, Lottridge, Reese, your top 5 in qualifying. Reese trying to improve on a 33.44. And does not appear he was able to do so. Brett Grunewald goes off a 33.46 on his first lap. As we see what he does on his second time lap here today. Clicks off a 33.23. That is going to be good enough for 3rd place in qualifying. Jeff Paisley going out on track as well. And the number 7 machine sporting a new paint scheme. It looks like running the blue and white instead of the historical red, white, and black of the Arcadia Motorsports drivers. Dakota Camper also makes his way out on track, trying to bring home another great qualifying here today to maybe lock up a points championship. So right now it is Paisley and Camper, the 2 drivers out on track. We're going to see what their qualifying times can be. 8 drivers have qualified here today, so about 5 that have not. Matt Telder, Michael Morrison, and Jamie Dobbs not made their way out on track yet. As again, it is going to be 100 laps, 150 miles here on the raceway. Let's see what Paisley's first time lap is. He drops a 33.09, immediately good enough for 3rd. He's got to try and gain about 3 tenths here if he wants to put it on pole. Dakota Camper right in tow with a 33.11. So here in qualifying, it's going to be right down to the wire to see where these guys are going to be starting out tonight. With how tight the field is in points and how few cars have made it out here today, every single spot you can get early on will pay dividends, as the chance of a green flag run is looking pretty good. Dakota Camper talked about that in that pre-race interview today. Paisley with a 33.16, unable to improve on his time. Let's see what Camper does. He will once again click off a 33.11, so he will stay in 4th place in qualifying. Still waiting on Telder, Morrison, and Dobbs to put down some times, but I don't believe they're going to have time to, as qualifying will quickly come to a close. And then we're going to get ready to send them out for the second last race of the season for our friends over here at the original Rebel Racing League. As Camper makes his way back to the pit stall. Interesting enough, I believe it is a 10-minute qualifying session today. I want to say historically that was not the case. So you've got guys such as Telder, Morrison, and Dobbs that do have time to go out here today, if they so choose to. Which I'm not sure if that's going to happen. 10 drivers have qualified. We're waiting 3 more drivers to make their way out on grid. But the real question tonight is, are we going to see Dakota Camper possibly bring home and lock up a championship? Or are some of the other drivers going to try and throw a wrench in his plans? Because again, Kinder... No, it was actually Kinder. Am I reading that right? No, I am not. I read the wrong post. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. It was Dakota Camper, your current points leader. He was just 5 points ahead of Bill Stringfellow coming into tonight. Now, Stringfellow has been under the weather. So the next poised driver to challenge Camper in these final rounds of the championship is both Jeff Paisley and Garrett Kinder. Paisley has 3,065 points. Garrett Kinder has 3,064. You've got Dobbs, Oswald. I mean, not a lot of points separating these drivers. Camper has about a 12-point lead over Paisley and Kinder, but he's going to want to finish strong and out front if at all possible. And if that's not outside, or if that is outside the scope of what he's able to do here today at Homestead, he will most likely follow right behind those two drivers to avoid giving up any points, any more points. As we wait for the remaining 2.5 minutes of qualifying to come to a close here at this late night Rebels race. Thank you all so much to our fans and friends that have tuned in all season long, supporting their favorite drivers. It has been quite a fun one to run all season long, and a lot of great racing out on track as well. Does not know. Jamie Dobbs does appear to be going out on track in the number 91 machine. So a late entry here, making his way out in that number 91 Ford Mustang. Maybe he was waiting for the track to cool down to the optimal spot. But let's see what Dobbs can do here. If he can maybe throw a wrench in the plans of several drivers, getting dangerously close to that outside wall. But that is the fast way around here at Homestead. On the opening lap, you run that high line, try and build up as much speed before your final timed lap. You get way down to the inside line, almost on the apron to make the track as small as possible. So let's see if Dobbs can dethrone Eddie Smith, who put down a pole-setting time with 32.74. Dobbs at his opening lap with a 33.7. We've got about a minute left in qualifying, a little bit less than that, so Dobbs should have plenty of time to come around and complete his second flying lap. And Dobbs has a big shimmy coming out of 4. I believe that will throw away his lap time. I don't think he's going to prove. He does slightly at 33.29. Good enough for 7, so able to salvage that lap despite the bit of a bobble. And he will do so with about 15 seconds left in qualifying. Not a lot of time left on the table here. Dobbs brings it down to a crawl, and we're going to get ready to grid him up for today's main event. As Matt Telder and Michael Morrison did not put down qualifying times, it'll be interesting to see if they do go out on track or if they're going to be a pair of did not starts here today. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's grid. Starting on pole, Eddie Smith in the number 87 machine. Garrett Kinder starting second in the number 13. Jeff Paisley, the number 7, starting third. Dakota Kemper in the number 3 machine, starting fourth. Brett Grunwald in the number 5, starting fifth. Josh Oswald in the 17, starting sixth. Jamie Dobbs in the 91, starting 7th. Jason Lawridge in the 48, starting 8th. Chris Reese in the 62, starting 9th. William Griffith Jr. in the number 12 machine, starting 10th. Kyle Roberts in the 35, starting 11th. Michael Morrison in the 21, starting 12th. And then we've got Matt Telder in the 02 machine to round out our grid here today. 13 lucky drivers coming out on track. And we're going to get ready to send them out. It's 100 laps here at Homestead, 150 miles at the Coral Castle 150. Let us know in the chat, who do you think is going to bring home the win and possibly lock up a championship here today? Again, we've got tonight, and then we've got next week at Chicagoland, where it's all going to be decided amongst these drivers. Michael Morrison was able to make it out on track. Matt Telder still has not gridded up in the 02 machine. He may be a DNS, did not start here today at Homestead. So up front, it's going to be Eddie Smith and Garrett Kinder on the front row. Jeff Paisley, Dakota Camper, your second row. Josh Oswald and Brett Grunwald round out our third row here today. A lot of drivers still in a possible championship contention as we get ready to the second to final night of the original Rebel Racing Midnight Series. And the green flag flies here at Homestead. It's Eddie Smith and Garrett Kinder going side by side into turn one. We're 2 rows wide and about 10 rows deep. As Kinder making it 3 wide on the outside line, as Eddie Smith may have gotten slowed down slightly faster than Jeff Paisley. And already a caution comes out. I believe that was Roberts involved in that. We'll take a quick look at the instant replay and see what may have happened. Roberts tags the outside wall and just absolutely drills it. There's also a crash going on with Lockridge ahead of him. But let's watch that one once more, a little bit slower from a different angle. I'm not sure if Roberts maybe got spooked by Reese thinking he's going to come up the track. Still a little bit of room there. You can see Lockridge maybe have done the same thing riding that outside wall. Camper talked early on about how slippery that outside line is. And was that Michael Morrison? Yes, it was. It absolutely drilled the side of Kyle Roberts. So that will be our first caution of the night as the replay button seems to have stuck once more. It's only this overlay, so something we got to get figured out in the future, maybe for next season. As things have broken up here in the booth. Try this once more, see if we can get it refired up for everybody. But that'll bring a couple of drivers down to pit lane as we get ready to re-rack them for a restart. Not the early caution you want to see if you're one of these championship contenders, doubly so if you're involved in one of the incidents. As that is a good way to throw away a championship, is with an early crash. Now these guys do have one fast repair at their disposal. So now it'll be Garrett Kinder, Eddie Smith still on the front row, Paisley and Camper your second row, Oswald and Dobbs your third row here today, as Michael Morrison in pit road for an extended amount of time. Kyle Roberts, Brett Grunwald, Chris Reese also came in on pit road on lap 3. Morrison makes his way back out on track in that number 21 machine, a helpless victim in that incident. We're going to get him signed back up, pointing in the right direction. And see if maybe we can get a race going on here. Pace car comes in, we get ready to send them back out. And we're gonna go racing once more here at the Coral Castle 150, or the, yes, that's correct. Maybe we can have a little bit better luck out of our drivers, maybe a little bit less of a crash fest early on. Garrett Kinder holds on to lead Jeff Paisley and side by by side. Having a great run, not many issues so far. But cautions always breed cautions, especially early on to the night, and these drivers, knowing they have that fast repair at their disposal, may allow the drivers to be a little bit more gutsy. But once you use that get-out-of-jail-free card, that is it for the race. If you find yourself involved in an incident, be it your fault or not, you will have to repair that the good old-fashioned way with duct tape and Flex Seal. Dakota Camper, your current points leader, clicks off the fastest lap. He's right behind Garrett Kender and Eddie Smith that are going side by side into turns 3 and 4. Camper's going to run that high groove, it looks like. Now, you talk about how loose it is up there, but loose is fast if you can hold on to it, as he will get the position from Jeff Paisley, taking over second place. And now he's about 3/10 back from your race leader, Garrett Kender. Kender now he responds to the fast lap of the race. He's out front with that clean air, clicks off at 32.94. And we're going to very briefly go single file here as Jeff Paisley, Jamie Dobbs have linked up briefly for that 3rd and 4th place spot right nose to tail. That may have allowed Paisley to close the gap on Camper ever so slightly, as behind him, I think that was William Griffith. No, that was Lockridge. The 8th trying to make a move out of it, as well as Josh Oswald. Both working hard to get around Griffith in the red and black. Everybody running very close nose to tail here, not having any big problems or worries. But we got the early caution out of the way. Will they be able to hold on to it and avoid any more issues? Or are we going to see a rough night for some of our drivers? Right now, we're looking good to go green for at least a little while. As we're watching Oswald really put the pressure on William Griffith here. Ahead of Griffith, you've got Dobbs, Paisley all running nose to tail. Really, everybody within about a half second to a second here within the top 5. But I wonder if and when tire wear is going to become a factor, as you see Camper still running that outside line. He's trying to catch up to the inside line. As Oswald and Griffith go side by side, start swapping back and forth places here. Griffith will come out on top, now still holding on to 5th place spot ahead of Josh Oswald, number 17 machine. Oswald doing his best to stay glued to the back bumper of Griffith. Griffith is already up 5 spots into tonight's main event. But he will get no chance to relax as Oswald once again dives in deep in turn 3 on the inside line. Will he get the slide up in front of Griffith? It appears he does ever so slightly. Oswald is still battling hard. That's allowing Dobbs to find a little bit of a distance up in 4th place as he runs right behind Jeff Paisley. Here tonight. But I don't think Oswald and Griffith are going to be able to gain any ground side by side here at Homestead. Both drivers racing hard for that 5th place spot, a very important spot when it comes to points. But that is allowing Kender, Camper, Paisley, and Dobbs to stretch their legs and get ahead in that lead pack. Back to Dakota Camper, number 3 machine. As our top 4 drivers running nose to tail, the top 3 drivers very, very close here. Camper still dedicated that outside line as you watch run that middle groove. bit loose, come out of the back stretch though, gets all sorts of unsettled. That will allow Kinder and Camper to stretch the legs to about 0.8 of a second over third place Paisley. But look at the varying lines here today. How unique both drivers are attacking this course here today. And I wonder which one is going to be better on the tire wear. If we do get those green flag runs in our field, who's been practicing the long runs as opposed to these short runs we've seen in the past. Now these drivers are running about 100% fuel allotment here today, so standard fuel sizes in these Cup cars. Up there to see if we can make it a one-stop race here, but it's going to be a two-stop race for the majority of the field. Kinder and Camper still out front, but we got a lot of action going on. Griffith has fallen back down. Not quite sure what happened there. And Eddie Smith has worked his way back up to fifth. So Smith had started on pole and cycled his way back to the back. He's working his way up once more in that number 87 machine, trying to get around Jamie Dobbs and the number 91. Dobbs is up 3 spots, as we saw Smith get just a little bit wiggly there, but thankfully able to hold on to it. Now as these cars tighten up, it'll be a little bit tougher for everybody to make big passes. I've seen some great racing. Eddie Smith getting around Dobbs, worked his way up into fourth, and now battling for third as Jeff Casey's on the high line. Let's see who's going to get it here through the trial as they cross the start-finish line. It's still Paisley just ever so slightly ahead, but Eddie Smith charging hard up that inside line, has worked his way into podium contention. Eddie Smith still doing whatever he can to try and get around Paisley to do so safely. Paisley may have tagged the outside wall there in the machine. That will allow him to get uncontested. Let's see if Dobbs can capitalize as he's about 4/10 back from Paisley's number 7 machine. As the top 3 getting fairly spread out, Kinder is about a half second ahead of Camper. And then it's about 2 seconds back from third place Smith, who's going to be working hard here today, but Smith still has Paisley right in tow. Pan the camera back up front to Garrett Kinder, see how he's doing. Run around nice and smooth, but Camper's finding some time here, getting within 4/10 of a second as the run progresses. But we've got more action going on back here for the battle for 9 moves inside the top 10. Greg Rudball and William Griffith going side by side down the back stretch here on board with William Griffith. And what a great shot, showing just how tight the racing is. Doesn't matter if you're battling for first or just inside the top 10. Always good racing to be found here at the Original Rebels Racing League. As let's see, the battles are just heating up all over the place. You're watching Brett Grunwald, William Griffith going battling hard, but you're 24 laps in, so now tire wear is going to become a factor. Going back up front, Garrett Kinder still leading by about 0.7 of a second over Dakota Camper, and not having any too many problems or woes. But look at this, Jamie Dobbs, he's also catching up to Jeff Paisley's number 7 machine, trying to take over that 4th place spot. Kinder seems to be pushing wide out of, I believe that's turns 2 and 4. Not sure if he's maybe running looser than he wants or what the issue may be. And Kinder starting to stretch his legs, now holding about a 1.2-second gap over Dakota Camper. I believe this is the tire wear we were talking about. Dobbs and Paisley still battling hard for that 4th place spot. Griffith comes out of pit lane after an early stop. Maybe had some damage on that number 12 Ford Mustang, hard to tell. Or maybe going for some big brain pit strategy here. Now you're watching Dobbs really getting pressured by Paisley after these guys have been going back and forth, but this has slowed down the field slightly and allowed Chris Reese, Kyle Roberts, Josh Oswald all in the mix here. It's about a 4-car battle for 4th as everyone is in the mix of it here. If you're going to see a caution with the more sparse field than we're used to seeing in the past, it's going to be in this pack that's battling extremely hard, 28 laps in. As Paisley still coming into contact with that outside wall. He's having some sort of problems here at Homestead, and that's going to allow Kyle Roberts to dive up the inside line. Let's see if Josh Oswald tries to follow suit as well. As, oh, we almost go 3 wide. Oh, we are going to go 3 wide. It's Paisley, Roberts, and Oswald going 3 wide in the battle for 6 down the back stretch. And we are going to have a crash. I'm not sure if the caution will fly here at Homestead. As William Griffith shows involved in an incident, the caution does not come out there. We're going to keep this party rolling for a little while longer. As we get out of 3 wide formation, now it's just 2 wide with Paisley and Oswald. And they're still side by side. Oswald and Paisley putting on the show in the battle for 6th. And now we're going to have a proper caution as Kyle Roberts was involved in an incident number 35 machine. Let's take a look and see what may have happened there. First, we're going to look at William Griffith's crash and see what may have happened to the number 12. Looks like just all sorts of unsettled coming around the corner, involved in a single car incident on the start-finish line. Very odd that the caution did not come out there, as he was, I mean, that absolutely should have been a caution. Let's also check on Kyle Roberts' crash and see what happened to the number 35 machine. Oh, him and Paisley just get into each other, knock around a couple times, and he's going to take a very hard hit on the inside wall. We're going to try and get one more look at that one, see if we can work a different camera angle for our viewers at home. So you're watching Paisley and Roberts come together. A little bit of contact, and then boom, hard on the inside wall for the number 35 machine. Hopefully still has a fast repair left in reserve, as the last time he came in was on lap 3. As everyone's going to come down pit road, going to grab 4 fresh Goodyears, a tank of gas to go back out. And we'll try and get things going again after our second caution of the night. As Kinder will come out of pit road still in front, Eddie Smith second, Jamie Dobbs third, Dakota Camper fourth, and Chris Reese will round out the top 5. As we get ready to re-rack them and send them back out once more at Homestead. Going to be interesting. About 65 laps left to go. Michael Morrison, Kyle Roberts, William Griffith, all in extended stays in pit road. Was showing his long run speed here today once he got things fired up and going. As we'll get ready for yet another start, it'll be 10 drivers still on the lead lap at this point of the night. Here we go, pace car comes in, it's Kinder and Smith on the front row once more, Dobbs and Camper following right along. Kinder with a great launch though, he's going to drift up the high line ahead of Eddie Smith. It's going to be Dobbs run that inside line, but Camper carries a little bit more speed around the high line in 1 and 2. As well as Josh Oswald down the back stretch. They may be able to carry a little bit more momentum. As now Dobbs will feel the pressure from Chris Reese's number 62 machine. Ooh, Dobbs with a big bobble there. Reese has the check up. Not a lot of room between these two drivers. As they go side by side once more, you can see all the newly added racing stripes here at Homestead left by our drivers on those outside wall. And now Eddie Smith has taken over the lead from Garrett Kinder. Lottridge passes Paisley. Morrison passes Grunwald. And let's go back and see what's going on to Paisley. He's fallen down just slightly here. Losing the spot, or gaining a spot, excuse me, from Lottridge, number 48 machine running a newer paint scheme than number 48 Lottridge with a huge bobble off the apron. Able to hold on to it though, a spectacular save. Dobbs in the middle of a heated battle here. Right behind him is Chris Reese, Jeff Paisley. They are trying to track down Dakota Camper, running third in his number 3 Chevrolet. It's Chevrolet with Eddie Smith and Dakota Camper running first and third. Garrett Kinder, our fastest Ford on track. He's currently in second overall. Ooh, but Camper has internet problems. Let's look at this. Reese and Oswald are going to go side by side as well. Meanwhile, another great, there's all sorts of battles going on. We're going to keep the camera focused at this battle for fifth between Reese, Oswald, and Paisley. They are trying to stay in line behind Jamie Dobbs, and now it's a 4-car battle for fourth. Great racing all across the track here today, and we look at some more 3-wide action, or possible 3-wide action. This is allowing Eddie Smith, Garrett Kinder to stretch out their lead up front as everybody's still battling side by side. But the battle for fifth is not slowing down at all here as they're going to make their way around lap traffic. That's going to be Robertson, the 35 machine, who was involved in that extremely hard hit. He's out here trying to salvage some points. Continue racing as long as he can with his friends. Always a good time here at the late night series. Paisley still about a quarter of a second off of Chris Reese. Chris Reese is gaining some major ground to Dakota Camper, as Camper seems to be getting dangerously close to that outside wall here. As it is less than 3/10 separating Camper from Reese. Meanwhile, you've also got Dobbs and Oswald still going side by side, not even in the halfway mark of today's main event. And both drivers doing a fantastic job holding it wide and seeing how close they can get. Dobbs drops down low in front of Oswald, maybe installing the run up that number 17 machine. Oswald down 1 spot from where he started, currently 7th on the circuit. But Oswald's not going to make it easy for him, still battling hard. Meanwhile, Chris Reese also involved in a battle. He's trying to track down the number 3 machine of Dakota Camper. Less than 3/10 separating these two drivers. As look at the run from Chris Reese, getting dangerously close to Dakota Camper here, coming out of turn 2 down the backstretch. Camper's going to try and hold on to it into 3 and slow down the run of Reese, but Reese is up 5 spots, and he's trying to make it 6, putting himself in podium contention. And side by side, Reese may have it here. Coming out in front of Camper. Camper goes down the inside line, down the backstretch. Seeing if he can return the favor into turn 3. They're going to go side by side once more. Camper takes over the current position. What a heated battle for third. Camper trying to salvage as much points as he can because he knows Kinder is trying to close the gap, but he's got to be careful because he does not want to throw away a championship here today, battling for third. And still side by side. Ooh, Camper with a big blank. That's the worst thing he wants right now. But it looks like Reese had a bit of a bobble coming out of turn 4 that allowed Camper to get another lap in third place. But how much tires are these guys burning up? Because Jeff Paisley, the number 7 machine, running 5th on track, is starting to catch up to this battle as they've been side by side, back and forth over the last 4 or 5 laps. Camper still holds on to it. Paisley about a quarter of a second back from Reese. Eddie Smith and Garrett Kinder have really checked out here as we take a look at our race leader, Eddie Smith. He has about a 2.5 second gap over Garrett Kinder coming down the backstretch here at Homestead. And then we're going to go back to Chris Reese, who is working hard on Dakota Camper. Paisley watching this battle unfold, as well as Dobbs and Oswald that have linked up here, trying to run single file nose to tail to gain some more time on this lead pack. And look at this, Camper and Reese just can't get away from each other. William Griffin comes out of pit lane after about 12 and a half minutes in his stall, getting some repairs done, coming out here to race with his friends. As we were watching the absolute wild battle for third between Camper and Reese, have not given themselves any breaks. They've got to be cooking up some tires here. And if they burn them off prematurely, you may see the likes of Paisley, Dobbs, Oswald catch up and interject themselves into the battle for the podium. As these guys still just pushing so hard back and forth. Across the cycle back to Dobbs and Oswald. They're putting the pressure on Jeff Page, the number 7 machine. Not sure if we're going to see these drivers work together. No, we are not. I was going to say, if these 3 drivers can link up, they may be able to catch up to the lead pack here today, but everybody's racing hard for position. Comes down pit road a little bit early. It'll be interesting to see if he's going for the undercut or maybe some sort of different strategy. Chris Reese, Dakota Camper, still battling hard for that 3rd place spot. Less than 0.2 of a second has separated these drivers for about the last 10 laps or so. Michael Morrison, he comes down pit road as well for his first planned stop, number 21 machine. For now, it's 8 drivers on the lead lap. Everybody running good. But let's see how these green flag stops will affect the drivers. Oswald and Dobbs still linked up nose to tail. Dobbs the number 91, Oswald the 17. Both running 5th and 6th on track here today. But still battling side by side, all this side by side action. You know who's happy is Eddie Smith and Garrett Hinder, who are extending their lead ever so slightly lap by lap, running single file with clean air on their cars. What's that? It looked like Dobbs tagged the outside wall, allowing Oswald to get through without any issues. We got Michael Sparks tuning in here, supporting the broadcast. Good seeing our Canadian buddies supporting us, watching some good racing on a Tuesday night. With Dobbs' bobble, that's going to allow Jeff Paisley to maybe pick up a spot. Now Paisley's down 4 spots from where he started, currently 7th on the circuit. With 40 laps left to go for our drivers here today at the Coral Castle 150. Eddie Smith, your previous race leader, he comes in a lap 60 for his pit stop. Let's see where your now race leader, Garrett Kinder, is going to come in. Or if he's going to try and stretch out the fuel run at all. Now Kinder's last pit stop was on lap 32. So he's gone about 30 laps on this tank so far. Is Kinder setting up for a pit stop here? No, he's going to keep that thing rolling. So Garrett Kinder will hold on to the lead for a little while longer before he initiates his green flag stop. He's about 2.3 seconds ahead of Dakota Camper and the number 3 machine. Here comes Eddie Smith and the number 87. He's 1 lap down. And he spent about 45 seconds on pit road from the time he crossed the first cones to the time he crossed the second cones. And he will get his lap back here as he shows about 35 seconds behind. So that means if Kinder pits here, he's going to come back out on track about 7 to 8 seconds behind Eddie Smith, but he will have the freshest tires to complete the final run of the night. Now Eddie came in on lap 59 for his second stop of the day. So I believe Kinder's going to try and stretch it out here so he can hit the remaining laps in one foul swoop and bring it home with this last stop. But let's see if his gas saving and his tire saving will be enough. And Kinder's still stretching it out here. Not showing any signs of coming in, so he's going to really stretch out this fuel run, make it last as long as he possibly can. And Roberts had a bit of a bobble, but able to hold on to it. Let's go back to Chris Reese. He's still putting the pressure on Dakota Camper. Paisley comes in, the number 7 machine as well. As we get our drivers finishing up our green flag stops of the day. Reese trying to work the inside line. Camper staying to that outside line very consistently here today. I'm almost wondering if that's got to be a tire saving move, allowing him to stay locked up there and not having to worry as much. Now, he talked about how much looser it was on the high line. That's going to allow him to make more of a swooping motion out of turns 2 and out of turns 4 to carry that momentum. Meanwhile, Chris Reese in the 62 machine on that inside line, the car will naturally want to drift wide and up the track. Lap traffic may be coming to play. No, that's going to be, is that Payton? Or no, that's Dobbs, number 91 machine. He's going to interject himself in the front. I believe that's Dobbs. No, that's Morrison, the number 21 machine, trying to get his lap back, cutting through with fresher tires. He came out of pit road on lap 54. Meanwhile, Kinder, Camper, Reese, Oswald all opting to stay out with their lap 32 pit strategy, stretching it as long as they possibly can. That way, when they have their final pit stop, they come out with the freshest rubber out on track. Keeping it clean here. Dakota Camper holding on to second place after the majority of the field has come into pit road. And now Camper will come down pit road. Kinder and Reese opt to stay out a little while longer. So Oswald will take over third place, but for how long, as he is not yet pitted here today. Let's see see how long is Kinder going to stay out for, your race leader, as he's losing ground to Chris Reese here. He's got to have a strategy in mind. As we are rapidly clicking off laps here at the Coral Castle 150. We got our good friend Mason Heimbaugh tuned in today saying, friendly reminder to drink your water. Yeah, we normally got 3 or 4 bottles next to the broadcast booth rig and making sure we stay hydrated, especially on these long Tuesday nights. And it will be a responsible bedtime once we get to bed. But Garrett Kinder has his hands full with Chris Reese, as well as Jeff Paisley getting his lap back after his lap 65 pit stop, as he quickly gets around first and second place uncontested. No big worries. Surely Kinder's not going to try and stretch it out after that lap 32 pit stop. Surely not. Right now, your race leader, Garrett Kinder, is about 12.5 seconds ahead of Eddie Smith, who came in a lap 59 for his set of tires. Kinder's last time by was at 35.36, as well as Chris Reese also clicking off at 35.35. But Dobbs back in 5th place after his pit stop on lap 60. Or Eddie Smith, another great example on his lap 59 pit stop. They're clicking off high 33-second lap time, so almost 2 seconds a lap faster. And with 26 laps left to go, Kinder, Reese, and Oswald are in trouble if Eddie Smith continues that pace as he's rapidly closing to the lead pack. Got Michael Sparks asking, do you think the leaders are maybe hoping for a caution? And that's kind of my thought as well, because doing my math up here in the booth, I don't think they can stretch their legs long enough to hold off the rest of the field that came in around that lap 60 mark. Their closest competition is Eddie Smith, who's about 10 seconds back from the leader, almost 2 seconds a lap faster. And then you've got 5th place Jamie Dobbs. He's 27 seconds back. So Kinder, Reese, Oswald may just be hoping that it's only Eddie Smith that catches up to him with 25 laps left to go. But if Dobbs in 5th place can gain more than a second per lap on these lead drivers, it will be very, very close to see if he can catch up and battle with these guys. Going to be very interesting to see how the pit cycles really affect tonight's race as well as the championship. As Kinder and Reese still staying out, they have not come in since lap 32. We're about to start lap 77, so that is a very long time. As Eddie Smith now within 7.8 seconds of your lead pack of Kinder and Reese. Both drivers clicking off mid to low 35-second lap times their last time by. Eddie Smith with a 34.26. So even Eddie's pace has slowed down slightly. But with 22 laps left to go, if Eddie can keep gaining about a quarter or 3/4 of a second on his lead pack per lap, he's looking very, very good to not only pass, but leave Kinder and Reese far behind. As here comes Brett Grunwald, the number 5 machine. He's going to try and get a lap back as well after a late pit stop on lap 66. Let's see. Lap traffic may be playing a role as Reese has lost about a fair amount of time. He's now about 9/10 behind your race leader, Garrett Kinder, with 20 laps left to go. Very interesting to see how this strategy is going to pay out for these drivers. As it looks like Reese finding some more time, getting within a half second of Kinder here. Not much separating these two drivers, but Eddie Smith has worked his way back into third, and he is now about 5 seconds back from this lead pack. Last time by, Smith was about a half second faster. With 19 laps left to go, he's looking good to pull off something pretty spectacular as far as strategizing goes. Kinder and Reese have got to be praying for a caution here so they can come in and take tires and try and salvage off a 1 and 2 finish. As you're watching Eddie Smith, he has now worked it down to 3 seconds difference between himself and Chris Reese. His last time by, he was a full second faster than Reese and about 4/10 faster than your race leader, Garrett Kinder. $17 laps left to go. All eyes are on Eddie Smith to see if he can pull something off. Garrett Kinder has got to be talking to his crew chief and realizing if we do not have a caution, things are going to get tough in about the next 10 laps. As Smith's last time by a 34.44, Reese clicked off a 35.64, and your race leader Garrett Kinder with a 35.10. Not sure what's going to happen here, as this is currently the most interesting storyline we have out on track, as now Smith is within 1 second of Reese for the first time in about 15 laps. He can see the bright yellow number 62 machine just ahead of him. As it looks like he may be in a position here to make quick work of Reese, being almost over 1.3 seconds faster that last time by. And yes, Smith will take over second place just ahead of Reese. Reese is going to try and do something in turn one, but just doesn't have the momentum. The tire wear is such a big factor on that number 62 Chevrolet, and that's not to scoff at Reese's progress at all here tonight. That number 62 is up 6 spots from where he originally started, so still having a fantastic run, all things considered. But Smith may be in a great position to try and catch up to the race leader, Garrett Kinder. As that last time by, Smith was about 2/10 faster. If he can keep just that same pace moving forward, he may be able to pull something off here with about 5 laps left to go. As now he's about 2.5 seconds back from your race leader. Kinder out front is going to drive the wheels off that number 13 machine while simultaneously keeping tire wear at the forefront of his mind. As you were watching Garrett Kinder do everything in his power to keep that number 13 machine rolling forward, because he knows Smith is now about 1.5 seconds behind. As it's about to be 12 laps left to go. Kinder getting around traffic as quickly as he possibly can. Not wanting to slow down in any way, shape, or form. As just like that, you can see Eddie Smith in the number 87 machine in the background starting to make bigger grounds and bigger strides. 12 laps left to go, and now it's about a 1 second difference between your race leader, Garrett Kinder, and Eddie Smith. As here we go, now Smith sees his target in sight. Garrett Kinder less than a second away. And here we go, the battle for the lead's about to unfold. It's Garrett Kinder with his last pit stop on lap 32. Eddie Smith with 27 lap newer tires. Does Kinder have anything left in reserve to hold off Smith? As his car has got to be ridiculously tight at this point, and Eddie Smith is going to make the pass coming to the start-finish line for the lead. He will have the time recorded by about 0.03 of a second going into turn 1. So unfortunately, unless Kinder or Reese can get a caution here, I think Eddie Smith is in looking a good position to maybe check out and bring home another win here for the late night series at the original Rebel Racing League. Kinder, all things considered, doing a great job holding with the race leader. But that last time by, Kinder found himself about 0.3 slower than what Eddie Smith is currently clicking off with his just much fresher tires. It's a tough spot to be in for Garrett Kinder. It doesn't matter how good you are on track. With those older tires, it's just almost impossible to make any big strides. So the fact that Kinder's able to stay with this race leader, Eddie Smith, at all is extremely impressive with just how old those tires are. As we've got 8 laps left to go, it's Smith, Kinder, Reese, Oswald, and Camper, your top 5. How is this going to affect the point chase going into the season finale next week? As these guys always put on a great show week in and week out. I still can't believe that Kinder is staying so close to Smith here, keeping him within about 0.3 to a half second. Not showing as much signs of tire wear as I would expect out of the number 13 Ford. But I believe Eddie Smith is going to be able to put it into overdrive, just focus on hitting his marks here. It is right now his race left to lose. His closest competition is Garrett Kinder in second place, number 13 machine. He's about a half second behind, but losing a good chunk of time, a 10th here, a 10th there, every time they dive into turns 1 or 3. Those fresher tires, those 27 lap fresher tires, such a wild advantage that Eddie Smith has found himself in with a perfect pit strategy here today at Homestead. As just like that, Eddie Smith is appearing to check out here. Exiting that lead about 1.5 seconds. Another notable battle out on track. Dakota Camper seems to be catching up to Josh Oswald. Oswald, another one of those drivers with a lap 32 pit stop, able to hold on to it. But he's going to look like to get edged out of 4th place as Camper may be able to salvage some points here today with his pit strategy. Camper came in a lot later than Smith, though. He came a lap 70, so he arguably has some of the freshest tires out on the raceway. but maybe just didn't leave himself enough laps to do anything with it. Now Camper will pick his way up into 4th place. He's about 1.4 seconds back from Chris Reese's number 62 machine with 3 laps left to go. I don't think you're going to see Camper make anything of it. He was about 8 tenths faster than Reese, so maybe in a perfect world, if he hammers down and uses everything he has, he may be able to pick up a podium spot, but that's going to be extremely tough to do. As Reese and Camper, despite being on the older tires, have the chance today. Camper now about 1.2 seconds back. He's got to be careful not to overdrive the car at this stage of the race. But with 2 laps left to go, I think Chris Reese is going to hold on to it, barring any wild mistakes. But we've seen that happen before to drivers. Attrition and fatigue start to play a role, and then silly mistakes can cost you a race, and in tonight's scenario can cost you a championship. But the white flag will fly for Eddie Smith, who has put a gap on the field to the tune of about 7 seconds. Working that tire strategy to his advantage, so Eddie Smith will make it down the back stretch for the final time here today at the Coral Castle 150. And he will bring home what looks to be like a win, barring any acts of tragedy going into turns 3 and 4. Smith will make his way out. And he will pick up the win here today at Homestead. Eddie Smith coming out in force. Garrett Kinder will take over 2nd. Chris Reese will hold on to 3rd. And Dakota Camper, despite the hard battle he put forth tonight, will bring home a 4th. Eddie Smith absolutely pumped to pick up yet another win here at the original Rebel Racing League Late Night Rebels Series. As Eddie Smith will burn it down in style here today in the number 87 machine. A well-deserved victory. Absolutely playing the pit strategy perfectly as he gets absolutely demolished by his friends out on track. But a great race all the way around. Eddie Smith bringing home a great win. We've got Garrett Kinder waiting in the broadcast booth, waiting for Chris Reese. There we go. We can get this party started in style. As Eddie Smith taking a well-deserved burnout here today. Up first, we've got Chris Reese, the driver of the number 62 Chevrolet. Chris, you're one of the fastest cars out there, and it seemed like you, Kinder, and Oswald really played a gamble on that pit strategy. In hindsight, is that something you were pretty confident still stick to your guns, or do you wish you could kind of go back and maybe change up that strategy a little bit?
If I could go back, I probably would have pitted the same time Eddie did, but I had never podiumed here in this series yet, and I figured that this was a long shot option to do it, and got lucky there. I actually sputtered coming around to the front stretch.
Oh, so you were that close on gas after, what was that, a 68 lap run, I think?
Something in that area, yeah.
That is a long time, my friend. I mean, I know the cars kind of started driving like dump trucks at that point. Your last lap, I think, was right at a 35-second lap time. How tight was that car making its way around Homestead?
Well, after about 20 laps, it really started to get tight. But for the most part, the reason me and I think Kinder were traveling so slow is I was clutching from about halfway down the straightaway to halfway around the corner trying to save all the fuel I could.
Well, it seems like you got it right down the wire, so well done on the math. Congratulations on your first podium of the season as well, Chris. Always a good time seeing you out there on track. Who would you like to give a shout-out to that maybe is cheering you on this season?
Refab Inc.'s primary sponsor on the car, Splash and Go Graphics, the guys who did the paint for me. Of course, my wife for putting up with the hours I put in sitting here in front of my computer screens. And I think that, well, of course, you guys for putting this on, our deal in the Rebels Racing League. But I think that's about it for me.
Well, always a pleasure talking to you, Chris. Great job on a hard-fought third and a pit strategy that, all things considered, paid off well. And hope to see you do well next week as well, my friend.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to Chicagoland next week.
That was Chris Reese in the number 62 machine. Up next, we've got Garrett Kinder finishing second. Garrett, how's it going, my friend?
Oh, it's going pretty good. I'm a little low on petrol. If you got any up there in the booth I can borrow.
We are fresh out of gas, but we do have the broadcasting water on standby, so we'll try and get that Ford around however we can, even if we got to get out of the booth and push it ourselves.
I appreciate it.
How close were you on fuel at the end of that run?
Well, with 2 to go, I had 0.4 gallons left, and I made it back around a couple more times. And after I took the checkered flag, I ran out on the backstretch. So real close.
Now, Garrett, coming in tonight, at what point did you consider that wild strategy after coming out lap 32 and trying to stretch it out? Was that a plan going into tonight? Did it kind of naturally unfold, or what was
the
process?
I did some quick math after we did that pit stop, and kind of how many laps we had run under green, and how many laps we had left in the race, and how many gallons I had left. And I knew that we were, right on the cusp of making it. I probably ran it a little too hard there at the beginning. A lot of those guys, they hung back real early on. Eddie and I jumped out to a 2-second lead pretty quick. I think if I had maybe saved a little bit even starting out that run, I think I would have been a lot better off. But yeah, pretty much from that pit stop, that was my strategy. Stay out and stretch it.
Well,
and see how it goes.
All things considered, it seemed like it worked really well. You were still able to hold on to second after Eddie made his way around, and other than that, I think Reese was a couple seconds behind you, so you guys able to bring it home at the end. Now, going next week to Chicagoland, is that a track you're going to be fairly comfortable at? It's kind of you don't want to call it a cookie cutter, but close to it, the mile and a halfer.
It's been a good track to me in other leagues I've run in, so I feel pretty comfortable going into it. I've had some pretty decent steam going in these playoffs for the Late Night Cup Series, so I'm really looking forward to it. My work schedule is looking forward to this season finishing up, but we'll see how it goes next week, and hopefully I can bring home the W.
Well, awesome. As always, a great time talking to Garrett. Before I let you go and celebrate with the rest of the Knuckleheads, who would I give a shout-out to? Friends, family, sponsors? The floor is all yours, my friend.
Well, I got a list. Hope you're ready for it. I got to start out with Kinder Farm and Ranch. They came on last season and have absolutely been 100% supportive of me doing this iRacing stuff. They love watching these races. Even these late night ones, I think they go back and watch them the next day. It's a little bit past their bedtime, but love having them on board. Ratchet Speed Shop, he came on board a couple weeks back. Another close family friend, as much as you can consider somebody that's not blood family, but he's my family 100%. I got to thank Big Frig Coolers. If you want the best coolers out there to keep your stuff hot, keep your stuff cold for cheaper and for longer than anybody else out there, jump over to bigfrigcoolers.com. They've some great guys over there. Tell them we sent you from over here at iRacing, Original Rebels Racing League, and I'm sure they'll be able to hook you up with some cool stuff. Got to thank you up in the booth, man. Love coming back watching these races. You're a heck of a broadcaster, so I appreciate you. Appreciate Griff for continuing this season on after we had some admin shakeup and lost a couple people. So it's been fun. Didn't have a huge field tonight, unfortunately. I think the World Series, go Braves. I think the World Series might have tied some people up and kept them out of the race. And, of course, fall, winter rolling around, hunting season's going on. So there might have been a lot of people out doing that. So, unfortunately, only 13 in the field tonight, but it was still a dang good time. I've never done a fuel strategy race before, so it was a little different, but it was a heck of a time to try it, I guess.
Well, things worked out well for you. We're pumped to see you do well, Garrett, as always, and a great time talking to you. Hope to see you do well next week for the season finale, as well as I believe the points got a little bit shaken up here today.
Yeah, a little bit. We see a lot of those playoff drivers in the top 10 here, but there were some people that were awful close in standing, so we'll see how it shakes out. I think there might have been even a tie or two for points-wise, so it's going to have to come down to finishing position, I think, tonight. So we'll see how it shakes out, see who makes the Final Four, and we'll get after it next week.
Awesome. We wish you the best of luck, Garrett. Thank you, as always, for your time, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
And up next, the man of the hour, Eddie Smith, bringing it home in the top box, number 87 machine. Eddie, you don't seem to run out here often, but when you do, you kind of throw a wrench in everybody's plans.
Yeah, hey, Mr. East.
What?
Yeah, it was a good race tonight. It was a lot of fun. A little strategy there at the end. Got to be kind of exciting.
Now, Eddie, at what point into that final run did you realize you were most likely bringing home a win here today?
Probably the time as soon as I passed Kinder, because they were talking about how they could make it on fuel after that first pit stop, and I didn't think I was gonna. I looked at my fuel and I said, well, ain't no way I'm gonna make it. So I just went ahead and pitted early and just kind of threw up a Hail Mary, and this turned out to be the right call there at the end, be able to run down those guys and get back by them. So they were really, really having to save to make it towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I think Kinder was saying he had 0.4 gallons with 2 laps left to go, so he was all purposes out of gas in that final run. But were you nervous at all having to cut through back through the field with the drivers maybe on different tire strategies or drivers a lap down here that was going to possibly interfere with your run to the finish?
No, because I just was going to go as hard as I could and get around guys and just honestly didn't think I could run them back down. I thought when I pitted, I was like, well, that's it. I'm just going to hope for my whole point of pitting was not because I had this great plan that I was going to run down these guys saving gas. The whole point of me pitting early was to make sure that I could stay on the lead lap. So when I come back out, have fresh tires and be able to get past Garrett and stay on the lead lap for a caution. But I had no idea that I was going to be able to run them back down. So that was a nice surprise.
Well, if anybody asks, Eddie, we'll tell them that was totally planned, totally on purpose, and it was just the play of the day. Eddie, congratulations. We don't have you out here much. Whenever you do, you run fast, you run clean. It's great seeing you. Before we let you sign off, who would like to give a shout-out to? Friends, family, sponsors. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, I want to thank my wife for allowing me to race as much as I do. I want to thank my teammates at JC Motorsports, and thank you for broadcasting and all the Rebels guys, all the admins who put everything together. Man, it's just a fun place, so thank you.
No worries, Eddie. Congratulations on a win, and if we see you next week, we hope you do well there as well.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well, sir. And that, my friends, is going to do it here for the original Rebel Racing Late Night Series. The Coral Castle 150 went relatively smooth here today, but Eddie Smith, Garrett Kinder, Chris Reese bringing it home in the top 3 spots. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this affects the final points round next week in Chicago, where we're going to decide the season champion. As always, on behalf of the original Rebel Racing League, as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, spending a late Tuesday night with us, and we'll see you same time, same place next week for the season finale. Have a great night, everyone.